Hi everybody and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles, and on this episode, we're going to talk about what's next for Shotzi Blackheart. Now you may have seen just a few days ago I made a video about the other WWE releases. At that time, Shotzi's release, or not technically a release, but they're letting her contract run up, had not been announced yet. I kind of was holding off on this because I wanted to see if more people would be added. That way I could lump them all into one video. Luckily for a lot of people, there wasn't any more wrestlers added to that list. There was rumblings about Shinsuke Nakamura, which kind of upset me because I'm a huge Shinsuke fan. Not that I'm not a huge fan of Shotzi, she is awesome. So I wanted to do this for a lot of reasons. Shotzi Blackheart is someone that I think is an extremely talented wrestler, an extremely likable wrestler. And my fandom of Shotzi goes back a long time. I used to work on a podcast called Live from the Armory with my friends Bunkhouse Bob and the lovely Laura. They were the people on the episodes mostly. I did a lot of the behind the scenes type stuff, made some graphics for the show, booked some of the guests, would step in when needed, stuff like that, handled the live chat while the show was going on Twitter and whatever. I digress. One of the people that we had on early in her career was Shotzi Blackheart. It always stuck with me how motivated she was and how different she was. And when I say different, I mean that in a good way. There's a lot of women that have dyed hair and tattoos, but Shotzi has that something that a lot of them don't. She has that drive. She has that unmistakable charisma that you just can't help but to root for her. And she's someone for the longest time that I've rooted for. She was extremely nice to us, extremely great guest. We loved having her on. So I may be biased a bit in when I'm talking about her. I'm able to go a little more in depth here because on my other video I had to cover 15 different releases. This one I'm covering one person. Kind of awesome that it worked out that way. Not that they're getting released, but that the one person out of all of these that I have that back connection with, that history with, is the one I get to highlight on their own. So what I think should happen and where I think she's going to go, I'm going to be perfectly honest for you. This isn't a question of where can she go, it's where she wants to go. Every wrestling company in the world that has a women's division or is a women's wrestling company is going to be vying for Shotzi Blackheart. She is someone that could come on your show and make an instant impact and instantly be one of the top baby faces in your company. She's got the charisma, she's got all of the skill in the world. She's so lovable, and on top of that, to quote our friends the Major Brothers, Matt Cardona and Brian Myers, she's very toyetic. You can make Shotzi Blackheart figures, either her with her little tank or just her and her helmet, and it's going to be awesome. She's one of those people that I kind of feel like WWE never really understood how to market and how to make her a star. So with that being said, I know I mentioned it's wherever she wants to go, and I fully believe that. I think that Shotzi's going to end up in AEW. There's, I would say, very little question that that's her destination. She could go to TNA with the expectation that she wants to go back to WWE. However, Shotzi is a little bit older, which is one of the reasons we heard that some of the releases happened. The age, the money, how they're being used. So Shotzi's in her 30s now, which isn't old by any stretch of the imagination, and I think she's kind of getting into her prime right now. For her, I think she looks at this and she looks at AEW, she looks at that roster, which has some extremely talented women, which she could have tons of great matches with. I mean, her and Megan Bayne would be an amazing match. Her and Toni Storm would be awesome. Thunder Rosa and her would be amazing. There's a lot of talented women on that roster, which reminds me, Tony Khan needs to start pushing some of those talented women. I digress. I definitely think that AEW is a destination for her. She has the star power. She'd go there. She'd automatically be one of their top women's baby faces. And I think we've only seen the beginning of how far she could go. With that being said, this is my opinion of where I think Shotzi Blackheart's going to go and what I think is going to happen next for her. I wish her all the best. I hope whatever she does, she's going to be successful. I wish her all the success in the world. One thing I do want to add here before I do sign off, WWE better not think of running a Halloween Havoc without her as the host. She has made those past couple Halloween Havocs so much fun just by her presence alone, and that's what she brings to the table. When you let her cook, when you let her be herself, that's what she brings to the table. She brings a different kind of entertainment, a different fun, an enjoyable thing, something that everybody can love. That's why we love Shotzi. I hope she does everything she wants, whether that be going to AEW, whether that be retiring and doing something else altogether, maybe going into movies. The sky's the limit for her. I fully believe every company is going to be throwing a contract at her, and I hope she gets the biggest amount of money she could get. With all that being said, my name is George Coles, and you've been watching Heel Heat.